Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're the hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every day, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can view all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues that affect you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Good morning, folks. I am Mark Hamilton. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the October 1st Bike and Pedestrian Commission meeting. The first item of business is to take a quick roll call, and I'm going to start up at the top. Jim, you're first.
Good morning.
We have Jim Dunham here. Andy, you're next. Here. Kelly Jetzer.
Here.
Joe Maldonado. And Ryan. Joe is here. And Ryan Huseman.
Here.
And I'm Mark Hamilton. I'm here. Phil Groupie's here. And we have one guest in the room, Steve Arnold, which has an item to go over in a minute after we approve the minutes. So the first, we have a very abridged Bike and Ped for this commission meeting today at 7:30. We're going to go into starting the planning for our updating our bicycle and ped plan. So first and foremost, you all got a copy of the minutes from September 3rd. Oh, yes?
I think that was just a chair squeaking.
Oh, okay. You all got a copy of the minutes from September 3rd. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? Any comments?
Need a motion first.
I know. Oh, I need a motion to approve. I'm sorry.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Andy.
Okay. Moved and seconded. All right. Is there further discussion of these minutes? Hearing none, please signify by saying aye if you approve. Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, we have our minutes approved, and item number 3 is public appearances for non-agenda items. Steve Arnold has signed the registration form to speak about Bike Fitchburg and the Wisconsin Bike Fed, which we will figure out a way to get into later in the meeting before we end it to go to planning. So is that okay with you, Steve?
No, I'm not. I just checked speak in case there was something I needed to say.
Okay,
so,
all right,
so
okay.
I'm not making a report.
Okay, all right. Okay, next we're on to agenda items number 4. So public work projects impacting the bike network. Phil.
Just got one thing here. Ross wasn't able to join us today, but he let me know that designs are continuing for the paved shoulders on Wayland Road. We're going to be putting that out to bid soon and working on that next year.
Okay. All right. Anything else from Public Works?
That's the only thing I'm aware of.
Okay. I do have one I want to bring up. I sent a note to you and to Ross last week to see if we could take the bike concerns section on the website under Public Works and make it bike/pedestrian concerns, because people don't know what's out there.
Yep, and I'll just have to clear that with Tim and IT.
I don't think it should be a problem.
I know I was out of town when you sent that, so I wasn't able to act on it, but
no problem. It's not a big deal, but I think it gives a place to find stuff, and we had an issue come up and the person didn't know where to put it, so I think when we communicate this to our businesses,
as
it's
bikeway
that's
concerns
good.
right now.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my only thing.
It'll just be making sure with Public Works that they don't have a reason to keep it separate.
Yeah. Let's find that out.
We'll just see what their preference is.
It's been out there over 2 years.
Quick question.
Yes, go ahead, Jim.
So the paved shoulders on Wayland, does that include sidewalks as well?
It does not. Nope.
Okay.
No, this will be technically not technically bike lane, so it's not going to have like there won't be like a buffer between the lane and the shoulder. It's really just a paved shoulder that will be still more bikeable than what's there now.
But not pedestrian friendly.
Not pedestrian friendly, correct? Yeah, that would require. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak for Ross, but it's not going to be sidewalks.
Jim, we can give you an update as to how this got to where it was, because it goes back to, I think, about 2015 in our city, so more to come on that. And welcome to Don Krim. I'm glad this day worked for you and that you're outside enjoying the weather.
Yeah, it was weird. I lost the link. I had to re-register. So I'm registered twice,
Okay.
but I'm in.
Well, thank you for joining. We are on item number 4A on our agenda. So if we could follow up on the bike ped concerns. Jim, I'll reach out to you about the Wayland Road project, and we can go from there. Next is Andy Potts, items from the Governor's Bicycle Coordinating Council.
Yeah, just a few things that I wanted to bring up that have come up at the Governor's Bike Council, so this shouldn't take long. The three things are, one, people might recall from, I believe, 2017, the Governor's Bike Council put out an economic impact of cycling report. I just wanted to give people a heads up that we're going to be releasing a new version of that, updated with more current data. We're hoping to have that out by December of this year. So I'll just be sure that this group is included on any of that information when we send it out. Secondly, the department is currently engaging what they're calling their active transportation plan. And what the active transportation plan is, the Department of when I say department, it's the WISDOT, Wisconsin Department of Transportation. They have a bicycle plan and a pedestrian plan, kind of similar to how Fitchburg's work. So, this is sort of their guiding document in terms of the principles that they set forth when they go through with any of their projects for both kind of visioning, planning, as well as kind of more specific when they actually get to designing things. The bicycle plan was last updated in 1998, and the pedestrian plan dates from, I believe, 2002. So don't feel bad when we talk about how out of date our plan is, because WISDOT has us beat by a couple decades there. But they're combining them into a single active transportation plan. That planning process is kind of going to continue through the fall and winter, and really just kind of a heads up for people to be engaged in that. I will send a link through in the chat that maybe Phil can post somewhere. Potentially, we'll figure out maybe a spot on our website to put it up to. But DOT is looking for just participation feedback as they go through their planning process. So I just wanted to make people aware of that. And then the final item, probably more for Ross if he were here, but since he's not, I'll just very briefly mention it. So the Department of Transportation has what they call their Facilities Design Manual, it's the FDM, and it's very much a nuts and bolts plan for engineers to use when they're designing projects. And currently the FDM has a bicycle section and a pedestrian section, and the department is engaged with a consultant to revitalize both of those and come up with a single bike and ped section for the FDM. Again, there will be public meetings about that coming up. I believe the next one will be in December. But again, just a kind of a heads up, it's really more the nuts and bolts of like, here's how you put striping down to let people know how to get through a roundabout. Here's the proper signage that you should use on a bike lane. Here's how you should design a multi-use path. It's very, very much like an engineering design document. But again, wanted to give people a heads up that it's out there. And I'll share any links that I can give to the group just so that we can get as much feedback from around the state. But I can answer any questions if anyone has any.
Andy, I've got two comments. One is safety on our trails. I mean, it kind of ties into what's going on with e-bikes, because there are more and more e-bikes out there, and they're going faster than, there's a lot of them that go over that 20 miles an hour, and I don't know if our state's going to even look at that or address it, but I'm referring to the ones that are the throttled out there. But just the safety on the trail, I think, needs to have some area of focus, because it's getting very crowded out there. And the second part is everybody wearing earpods that you can't hear if you say you're going around somebody. And I guess my sense on that is that if you could suggest people use the right AirPod only versus the left, they can hear people going around them on that left side. But I don't know if that's going to be addressed, but it's, as e-bikes grow in popularity and we get more people out there on the trails, I think safety and courtesy, as well as what's going on with e-bikes, is something we're going to have to address in the long run. So I don't know. Have they discussed it? Don, you're nodding your head. Any comments? Any comments from the rest of you on this?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like now the e-bikes are like whizzing by. And you're right, the number of kind of distracted bikers because of the headphones or earpods is making it a little more dangerous. So I do agree that in the plans that we update and what our comments are to the other plans, that's something we should definitely bring up.
Okay, yeah, I know e-bikes will be addressed, because again, like these plans are like over 20 years old, and like e-bikes just weren't even a thing when these plans were first put together. So I know that is a big piece of what they want to update. And some of it too, I think part of it would come into sort of the active transportation plan. I guess I think they're probably early enough in the process that they probably haven't made any decisions on the FDM. They're really still, I think a lot of that's kind of with the consultant at this point, but certainly comments I can pass along. We'll also note, at least on the state trail side, that really is kind of a regulatory piece for the Department of Financial Resources. I know they currently do have a speed limit for e-bikes on the state trails, but they also don't have any resources to enforce the speed limit.
Andy, it's Jim. If you could share that link via email, that'd be really helpful.
Oh, sure. I will send it out momentarily.
Thank you very much.
Just a point of clarification. Is there a speed limit just for one type of vehicle on the trail, or is it a speed limit on the trail?
Right now.
It's a speed limit specific to e-bikes. But on state trails, the state linear trails have a speed limit, I believe, of 15 miles per hour. That's in the state administrative code. It does not apply to other modes of transportation.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That some travelers on the trail can go really fast and others not? But it seems like if there's a speed limit, like we don't on our highways have speed limits for sports cars versus speed limits for Priuses.
Non-e-bikes can't monitor their, I guess you could buy a separate computer to monitor your speed, but I suspect most riders don't have them, where I'm pretty sure e-bikes now come standard with a speedometer. Is that fair to say?
E-bikes definitely have.
So again, I think perhaps we can discuss this as we get into our planning, but we have to look at who's controlling the trails as we talk about it. I think we can give recommendations back to our state colleagues, as Andy is asking, but we're also dealing with an explosion. The bicycle folks I'm talking to, explosion of sales of e-bikes, and it's growing more than the other side. So it's out there. But I think the other piece, safety on our trail, is and who was the term? Somebody used the term distracted biking. Maybe that was you, Don, but I think that is something that's out there as well. So, Andy, you asked for feedback.
No, great, thank you. And like I said, I will get the link out for the active transportation planning document. I don't believe at this point the FDM is quite far enough along to be soliciting public feedback, but they should be within the next month or so. And I'll send that link out when I get it.
Okay. Anything else, Andy?
That should do it.
Okay. All right, we will move to the next item, which is the report from the department, and we'll start with Alder Maldonado.
Sorry, just had to get off. Can you all hear me? I have earbuds.
Yep, we can. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. I don't have any updates from the council. I know that, some items have come to council specifically around the bike and ped plan, and I've just been updating them as our council has, or as our committee has been dealing with them. So no updates on my end.
Okay. We'll go to you, Phil, item 5B, and then I got a couple things if I can add into yours that relate to the commission, so go ahead.
We got 3 more bicycle stations added, one on Traceway Drive across from where the hub is gonna go. It's temporary right now on some base plates. Once the hub is constructed on the north side of Traceway Drive, there will be some permanent B-cycle stations there. Novation Parkway, just west of Rimrock Road, so it's kind of near JD's Taste of Chicago and Finca Coffee. There's a station there as well, so we got into Southdale finally. And then also the roundabout where Williamsburg Way and Anton Drive meet just west of Verona Road. So it's kind of right across from the McKenzie Center station that's there right now. So that gets us quite a bit closer to finishing. I'll have to double check with Helen. I think we're around 10 or 12 docks remaining. I might be lowballing it a little bit. But somewhere in that neighborhood, we're probably looking to get 2 more stations in, and there are several spots we've been looking at that are just causing us more problems than we anticipated. We thought we'd be getting everything done in September, and that just wasn't able to happen, unfortunately. B-Cycle also put signs up at several stations, so there are kind of some wayfinding panels that have a QR code so you can access the app to download it. Pretty quick instructions on how to check out the bikes and use them. So that'll be nice. It gives a little bit more visibility to those stations, which we've been looking forward to. And then yesterday kicked off a week without biking. Last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, one of the two, Mayor Rodafrada had a proclamation issued at the Common Council meeting. I think that was just last Tuesday. Yesterday morning, I was out of town, so I haven't seen any updates on this yet, but there was an elected officials bus ride that the MPO hosted, kind of showing off the new bus rapid transit that has kicked off the east-west A route in Madison. So they met over on Baldwin and East Wash and rode to the Capitol, and there was some press. And I believe Bill Jetzer was there representing Fitchburg. Kelly, can you confirm?
Yes, he was interviewed twice by WKOW. It aired at like 6:40 a.m. and then sometime after 8:30. There are 2 different interviews with Bill during that event.
Thanks. Yeah, so we did get a little discussion on this at last month's meeting, but just as kind of a reminder, it's a week to both encourage non-vehicular, especially non-personal vehicle modes of transportation. It's a great way to, all the benefits we talk about with biking and walking, personal health and mental health and cutting down on emissions, but also really highlighting the number of residents in Dane County, and for us specifically Fitchburg, who don't have access to vehicles, and thinking about the way we plan and design our cities to make sure that they're as friendly as possible to all transportation types. That's all that I have from staff.
Can I interject here and give 3 more from the committee's perspective? Would you go back to Ross, please, and Tim, because we had asked that we look at putting an RRFB at Seminole Highway where it crosses diagonally, and if not even that, some green paint to slow down the traffic. That's been on our agenda for a while, and I know they want to get their other stuff done, but as they look at next year, and then the other one that was still talked about, but I think is going to be in the construction project, is Cap City crossing of Said. Those are intersections I continue to hear feedback about as well as personally observed, so if you could check with Ross on that, I'd appreciate it. The second thing is I think you all know that B-Cycle, Trek sold B-Cycle and I didn't bring that email with me, but they sold B-Cycle effective the 1st of October, wasn't that it? Mm-hmm. And Helen Bradley, our link, has been promoted. I have not been able to reach out to her, but her former boss, Lee Jones, who some of you know, is retiring from Trek. So he will not be a part of this transition because he retired effective today. But I think we need to see where this is all going to go. I don't see them picking these up and moving them, but this is a company that is nationwide and not just in Wisconsin based, going nationwide with B-Cycle. So more to come on that. The other thing, I think we might have missed our wave, and I got to give Steve some credit for bringing this up as well, is working with our schools to do more education and Bike to School Day. There was a day this month, I think, coming up about registering. It's on October 9th. I don't know if we can get anywhere with this or not, but I think this is one of the things as we looked at going to gold was more linkage with our schools. And other than knowing that Verona has bike safety built into their curriculum, the rest of them don't have anything unless Bike Fitchburg's been going out and working to do rodeos or bike giveaways. So I think as we get into our bike plan and we look into things next year, we need to get more active here. Second of all, as I said, is that we've got to do it together. We can't just be this group or Bike Fitchburg. We've got to get our schools engaged with everybody. So that's just something I'm seeing as a deficiency. Anybody have any comment? I mean, Andy, you've got school-age kids. Joe, you've got school-age kids.
I can confirm the Verona piece. They just wrapped up their unit on bike safety last week, but yeah, I don't know that we're doing much beyond that, and I agree. It seems like a deficiency.
Yeah. And other than time, I don't think it'll cost us a lot to move forward. So I just like to see us put this on our agenda as we look to move forward. And then lastly, go ahead, Joe.
Just adding to Andy, like we did get an email out district-wide in Verona about kind of the availability of those bikes for the curriculum. Who would it make sense to engage with at the Oregon or Madison School District? I feel like that, I don't know, this might not be an issue that elevates to the board level, but maybe there's like somebody within the staff at Doyle, or Oregon's a smaller district, obviously, so it might be easier to be in touch with somebody.
Joe, when we did the bike, we applied for the bike friendly status. I personally reached out to Oregon, Verona, and Madison, and I got information about the number of our kids that were in those schools, and I was given contacts. One of those contacts never called me back. The other one did get back to me, and I think that was Oregon, and she said basically they aren't doing anything. So you got to reach out through the school or through the district office. Madison directed me to the school, and there was a lady at Leopold, and I know she left, but she was quite active because we had a bike giveaway. So
the individual schools should be able to let you know. So I know like the Resource Conservation Commission started a food waste recycling and compost program at Leopold Elementary. A couple of members of the RCC are or were parents at Leopold Elementary. So they started that there and expanded to other schools. It's now going district-wide. But the school could tell you whether something like bike safety education is something that could be done at the individual school level, or if it would need to be implemented as more of a system-wide curriculum.
So I think we can put that on our follow-up, and I will work with the appropriate folks, including Mike Grady, who's done some work. And Andy, your kids go to Verona. Grady's kids go to Verona. I mean, I think we can begin to get into this without waiting for any type of plan or anything else, because it's a deficiency and in our city. So, okay, that's all I personally had. Thank you for letting me interject. Mm-hmm. Steve, are you prepared to give a Mike Fitchburg update? Okay.
But
yeah.
If I could interject, I would say one thing about Public Works. If you have not been on County Highway MM in the last week, you are in for an amazing surprise. They have resurfaced it from the M and 14 roundabouts near the village of Oregon to McCoy Road, and it now has all new pavement and 4-foot bike lanes. And while bike lanes next to 40 and 50 mile an hour traffic is not for everyone, previously those shoulders were almost completely gone and you had to ride in the travel lane. So that is a huge improvement on the route between urban Fitchburg and the village of Oregon.
That's good for those who like to ride at 55 miles an hour. Well, again, little things. The only other thing, we're next moving into announcements before we go into our formal planning, and I want to thank everybody for being willing to meet at 7 o'clock to do an abridged bike ped meeting, and then we will move into the planning process, and we'll see where this goes from there. There are no other announcements for anybody. Our next meeting is for the Bike Ped Commission is 7 o'clock on November 5th. And we will continue that through December at 7 o'clock as well while we focus on the plan. So I'm ready to transition into the plan unless anybody else has an announcement they'd like to share with the group.
This is Jim with a quick question. Is there going to be any you guys have probably done this in the past, but is there going to be conflicts? November 5th is election day. Is there going to be conflicts as far as meeting spaces or, you know?
Well, Steve brought that up. Go ahead and answer that. I'll let you answer that.
I'll check in on that. I don't think there will be a conflict, but I will confirm with FACTv and let everybody know. Certainly there wouldn't be a conflict with Zoom, but yeah, I'll have to double check on that and get back to everybody.
Okay. All right, and Jim, as I said, I'll follow up with you on the saga of Wayland Road. Okay, then I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the Bike and Ped Commission meeting, and we'll go into our next project. So,
and just as a note, this Zoom link was just for the Bike and Ped Commission meeting, so I did send out a separate link for a Microsoft Teams meeting, which will be where we'll do the plan update.
Okay. All right, if you didn't get that, let us know before we entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn by Alder Maldonado. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ryan and Don at the same time. All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, this meeting is closed, and if you would please log in on Microsoft Teams, I'm going to turn it over to Phil to get us going on the plan.